Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of The Take. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you can join us here on The Take on this Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Take here on Connect. Welcome in, y'all. Like we said, this is The Take, the home of pop culture, the hub of pop culture. We get everything entertainment and pop culture. So let's not waste no time whatsoever here on The Take. Let's get to the big story. The big story this week on The Take. Man, well, the big story we have for you because it's going to be so popping, locking. You see right here, we're going to show you right quick. Cardi B back in the news again. Good God, she always stays in the news for something. Cardi B back. Cardi B doing some crazy wild stuff. That's what we know Cardi B for. That she's known for. Well, this time Cardi B got herself involved in another Twitter feud against her old foe. This old foe is Nicki Minaj again. We know Cardi B and Nicki Minaj don't like each other one bit. They seat each other. They loaf each other. We can tell back a couple of years ago when Cardi B and Nicki Minaj were doing the song Motorsport with the Migos, and they was both on the track. I don't know which either of them probably didn't want to work with each other on the same set. I probably said I'm not working with her, and the Migos had to convince both of them like, hey, this is gonna work out. Glad that they did, but it got even more worse this week when both women tried to go after each other. Cardi B saying that, all right, this is the third time you talk about a pregnancy. Like, you wasn't different with further doctors because you can reproduce all of them perks scrambling in your head. Now, allegedly, Lord, protect my babies. Why you keep bringing up my album? It's not that you think that you've been in the game for 16 years. You need to compare yourself to your peers that you started around your time. Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Drake. Those are the numbers you need to be competing with. You can't cause you doing lower than all of them. I was in high school when you came out. WFT is you comparing yourself far from me. Man, this is far funny right here. I've been laughing all day. They've been going at each other, trying jabs at each other about each other careers, albums, and now they went even lower talking about each other's kids, which that's a low right there. And this what Cardi B said, calling Nicki Minaj Barbie, see Barbie. You know what I mean by that. You see right here, you read it. And also talked about right here the power I have to make these bees come out of rehab every time. Go to your effing room. There's nothing more than a boring bee. You must miss me, huh? Crazy. Now you kissing my foot. Nicki Minaj went back at us with the alphabet letter and saying pregnant with his pussy. And then she's trying to talk about Cardi B with Stephon Diggs and the rumors circle around about his sexuality and stuff. Then saying surgery to look like me. Go tell the rat until Jay Z. And she talking about Jay Z, Rico fraud and perjury. So a lot going on. Cardi B heavy on the tongue. They just going in at each other. I mean, they going in. To every neighbor, never provoke a rider while they are peeing. You join the gang as a wood petition now. Don't try to hold back out now. 326. I guess she's saying that Nicki Minaj is gonna be releasing the album in March. Let the rock bottom nation, rock inflation, rock Rico nation, you feel. Rain deals begin because we'll win again. I mean, this is the most funniest feud. Cardi B even got Nicki Minaj right here mocking her with this pink wig. I don't know what this is all about. And then I don't know who put this emotion. I think Nicki Minaj put it out by Cardi B. Then Nicki Minaj went back talking about Cardi B looking like Barney, saying she's a raw dog part pregnant with the fourth baby Barney B. Barney V, HIPV, allegedly. Man, these two need to sit down. Neither of them ain't making no sense. They wrong. They need to sit down because they acting up and they don't care. And you'll think Nicki Minaj be the better person, but I guess not. She got to stoop low to get down to Cardi B level. Cardi B ain't no different neither. I think both of them need to sit down and just relax. And I think Cardi B came out with the second album that really took her a long time to do. She should have been doing it. Well, this should be her at least her fourth album. She's working on her fourth kid. This should be her fourth album, but unfortunately, Cardi B's crazy, just like the rest of them crazy. So let's hope they get the help that they need, both of them, please. All right, we move on to talk shows this week. On talk shows this week, man, a lot been going on with on the talk show side. Singer, we'll go to singer Mariah Carey. Or you see right here, Mariah Carey, doing her media rounds. She appeared on the Jennifer Hudson show. If we can show a picture of Jennifer Hudson, Mariah Carey appeared on the Jennifer Hudson show. And Mariah Carey had a lot to say. Here's what Mariah Carey had to say on J Hood's show.
You have written some amazing ballads, some of all our favorite songs, right? Can you tell us what's the trick to a great love song?
I think it's really, it has to come from your heart. Obviously, that's a basic thing to say.
Yeah.
But I do think, you know, if you're talking about someone that you really had a thing for once, or, you know, that's gone from your life and never going to be there again. Like a song like, I'll use my own song as an example. I don't know if you ever heard the song, My All.
That's my favorite.
That is?
Yes.
Yes, that one. And that one has had a little comeback.
Yes.
And so I'm kind of like, you know, I'm excited about it. But yeah, that was really about like the moment I was having and the person that I was like very into at that moment. Mm-hmm. And then I came back. I was in Puerto Rico, and then I came back to New York and wrote the song with Walter A., who used to be my collaborator back then. He did the keys.
I just love hearing the context and where these iconic songs come from an icon that I've always looked up to. So y'all witnessing me have like a full-on, and you are too, I can look at your faces and tell like we're in this.
All right, you heard from Jennifer Hudson and Mariah Carey. Jennifer Hudson asked Mariah Carey about what was her favorite love song. I think my favorite love song from Mariah Carey is just Butterfly. That is that song she did. We Belong Together. That's a good song too. I like that song too. So Mariah Carey has been out there for nearly almost close to 40 years, delivering hit after hit and beautifully melodies and stuff like that. She's recently working with Anderson .Paak. So Mariah Carey come out the box with that. So good for Mariah Carey. Well, singer, actress, phenomenal actress Cheryl Lee Ralph appeared on Good Morning America, and Cheryl Lee Ralph had something to say. Let's hear what Cheryl Lee Ralph had to say.
Speaking of gifts, and speaking of that, you were nominated for a Tony back when you started the original production of Dreamgirls. It is coming back to Broadway.
Yes, it is.
So you're going to glow up?
You know something? I will definitely glow up. And I think, you know what? I might have to call up. I might have to call up Whoopi. I might have to call up you. And I might have to say the three of us need to be real dream girls and be producers.
Oh,
yeah.
I like
that part. Thank you.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah.
I like how you think.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So you obviously could do it. It's just if you want to do it.
Oh my God, no. You know something? It is one of the most grueling roles. You are on stage from the moment that cowbell rings to the last finale. It's hard to say goodbye. And every night I would be like, I'm so glad I get to say goodbye. Because you'd be so tired. tired, doggone it. And the only person that gets a break is Effie after she sings And I'm Telling You I'm Not Going, because after that song, you are going to rest.
You need to rest.
You need to rest. So I don't know if I'd want to do all of that, but yes, in the vein of a great Betty Davis playing the role 45 years that I played 45 years ago, yes, I could do it. But do I want to? I don't think so. That's what I'm talking about.
Barbara is embracing her season.
Thank you.
You are embracing the season that you're in your life right now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, it's like I've run such a good race, and it's like I've crossed this line, and it's like, oh my God, I'm ready for another race. I can do it. And it's been quite a race, but it's like I'm up to it, and it's like I get to see the flowers, smell the flowers, and they're given to me. It's an amazing time in my life, and I'm so grateful.
And we're grateful you brought so much energy this morning.
Thank you.
For coming
It's
in.
the morning. I'm alive. Yeah.
That was Cheryl Lee Ralph. Really uplifting message from Cheryl Lee Ralph. About Dreamgirls when she was in Dreamgirls in the 70s, and now she's been making it ever since. Moesha and now Abbott Elementary. So Shirley Ralph really real inspirational, to say for the least. Well, on The View, the women of The View, if we can go to The View right quick, show the women of The View had a big guest. They've been talking about this dude for a long time. This man could be the front runner to be the next mayor of New York City. Madadi, know his name, Zano and Madadi. He appeared on The View, and the women had these questions to ask Madadi. Take a look.
So Zoran, back in 2020, you called for defunding the police, something you've since walked back. You also called the NYPD racist, anti-queer, and a threat to public safety in 2020, but now agree they deserve an apology. You initially refused to denounce highly charged rhetoric related to Israel, then later said you would discourage its use. How can New Yorkers trust you and not be concerned that consultants are getting in your ear to get you elected, but you still hold all of those positions?
Well, they can rest assured that it isn't consultants in my ear. And I think this is another part of, to be a young person looking to lead is also to leave the opening for growth and understanding. And I can tell you, growing up in this city, I thought often about safety and justice, and I saw how justice was often left aside, whether it was the Central Park Five, whether it was Sean Bell, whether it was Eric Garner, whether it was watching the news of Michael Brown, and then in 2020, to see the murder of George Floyd, it felt as if there had never been a wider chasm in my life between those things. And after that, becoming an assembly member and learning about the ways in which you deliver justice is by intertwining it with safety. Can't be done alone. And learning that behind the headlines, behind the caricatures, we're speaking about police officers who are just trying to do their best. And my job as a mayor is to represent those officers who put their lives on the line, represent Muslim New Yorkers who were illegally surveilled, represent Black and brown New Yorkers who've been the victims of police brutality, and do all of it
And
with
Jewish
a commitment.
Americans
Absolutely.
And white people, everybody. You talk about
Yeah.
everybody.
This
And
is a
can I-
run-on sentence that includes every New Yorker because of the fact that safety and justice can be non-negotiable no matter who we're speaking about.
And can I ask, have you formally apologized to the NYPD?
These are conversations that I'm having individually with officers. And I've appreciated that because it's through those conversations with rank and file officers that I've learned more about the difficulties of this job. The difficulties where, for example, when I started running this race, about 200 officers were leaving the department every month. Now it's 350. And when you ask officers why, they'll tell you forced overtime. And what they mean by that is, you got 3 days off at the end of the week, you're planning a trip with your family, and at the last minute you're told, second day you got to be back. And part of the reason you got to be back is because we're asking cops to do everything we can think of. We're asking them to handle mental health calls. We're asking them to deal with homelessness. Every year now, cops respond to 200,000 mental health calls. So our proposal is allow the officers to do their job of tackling serious crime and create a Department of Community Safety that deals with homelessness, that deals with mental health crisis, so that we don't have response times like we do today, which are closer to 16 minutes.
You're running for mayor of New York and not prime minister of Israel, but you've made inflammatory statements like calling Israel an apartheid state and questioning its right to exist as a Jewish state. Just this week, you were evasive with a reporter about condemning Hamas. given New York has the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, why should voters who see this as a moral red line trust your clarity and judgment?
Well, I really appreciate this question and an opportunity to just clear up, I think, a number of misconceptions. First and foremost, you're right. I am running to be the mayor of the city, and this city will be the focus of my administration, ensuring that we make this a city everyone can afford and everyone knows that they belong to. And also, millions of New Yorkers, myself included, care deeply about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. And so to be very, very clear, of course I condemn Hamas. Of course I've called October 7th what it was, which is a horrific war crime. And of course, my belief in a universality in international law is also the same set of beliefs that have led me to describe what's happening in Gaza as a genocide. Because what we see is a war crime being answered with war crimes. And what we see is every single hour the Israeli military killing a Palestinian child for close to 2 years. And it's a horror that many New Yorkers feel so deeply. And my job, I can't stop that as the mayor of the city. I can make clear my own values, my own commitments. And it is a value and a commitment to humanity, to safety, to justice for all people that extends to everyone, Israelis, Palestinians, and everyone else across the world.
And recognizing that people do disagree with you.
Absolutely.
I am one of those people on some of these points.
Absolutely.
So.
And that you're disagreeing with me doesn't mean that you shouldn't be in this city or you shouldn't be celebrated and part of the city that I'm trying to lead. And I think that's the other part of growing up as a New Yorker, learning that disagreement and difference is part of what it means to be here. And I want to be a mayor, not just for the people who voted for me, not just for the people who agree with me, but every New Yorker. And that means that if a New Yorker disagrees with me about Israel, I'm still fighting for them to make sure that they can afford this city, be safe in this city, and see this city as their home.
All right, that was Modati from the Window View trying to take him to task. I was trying to take somebody to task on that show, but hey, Modati stood his ground. So leave it like that. All right, we move on to celebrity news. On celebrity news this week, man, what celebrity news we have for you? We can tell you this that Megan Thee Stallion and Tristan Thompson, who were to me was a perfect ideal couple, perhaps maybe breaking up. Let's hear what Tristan has said at an NBA press conference during media day during the Dallas Mavericks. See what Tristan had to say.
More importantly, how has your relationship made you better as a man on and off the floor, and how that's going to move forward for you as far as your career?
My relationship with
Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm not going to talk about that, but I will say that every summer doesn't change for me because I know what it takes to go the distance.
All right, that was Tristan. Tristan was kind of muted about this girl right here, Megan Thee Stallion. Well, what's going on? And I like Megan Thee Stallion and Tristan Thompson. What's going on with them? I hope it ain't true that Megan Thee Stallion and Tristan Thompson no longer together. I mean, we haven't seen them around. You know, they was doing a lot of this right here.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Megan Thee Stallion, aka the hot girl coach, and bitch, I'm a little sick right now, but that did not stop me and my man from going to work out. So that was him driving me on the way to this goddamn hellhole that he took me to, and he introduced me to something new called motherfucking Skater Squad. Now, why he had some chains on, I'm not really sure, but I guess they add more weight to the motherfucking exercise, which I don't believe that it really needed, but I wasn't no punk. So I said, put that motherfucking chain on me too, and turn to the side and look at this motherfucking cord popping out. I did good, babe.
All right, maybe we might get an indication of what's going on, but it's more. Let's look at this.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Megan Thee Stallion, aka the hot girl coach, and bitch, I have been working out with my man. Okay, so first of all, we went to the gym and we was doing these things that his trainer had put us through. He said, lift this shit up. I really think that he thought that I could not do it, but bitch, I was very much so keeping.
Maybe she overreacting, overthinking stuff.
What's up, y'all? So Klay had never had spaghetti and catfish together before, and ever since the first time I made it for him, he asked me for this shit like every week.
You can bring it. Tell me what you think.
First bite.
Yeah.
So good. Flawless.
So good.
It is the best thing I've ever tasted. My favorite meal. Like catfish, spaghetti, and Hawaiian rolls.
and it just goes down.
Baby, what is giving?
Maybe she, I don't know. I would thought they were the perfect couple. But we know Megan had a history a couple of years ago. She was before she got with Klay, she was with Trey, another NBA player, Torrey Craig from the Cavaliers. What happened with that? And then after with Craig, she had a long term relationship with Partisan, who was on Cardi B stuff, and then now we know the infamous Tory Lane. It's just like every man she get with, maybe she the problem. I don't want to say she's the problem, but how Christians was saying it and stuff like here.
And more importantly, how has your relationship made you better as a man on and off the floor, and how that's going to move forward for you as far as your career?
My relationship with like
Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm not going to talk about that, but I will say that every summer doesn't change for me.
Maybe there's something going on in Paradise. I thought it was the perfect couple. I thought Megan Thee Stallion found her man, but maybe she's trying to look for more fishes to see in the sea. Frogs. I meant to say frogs, but I hope that ain't the case. But we ain't gonna try to doubt it. We ain't gonna try to doubt it or not doubt it, but hopefully we'll see coming up. Well, coming up here on the take, we talk about this right here. The government shutdown coming up next. A lot of massive furloughs going on. What is going on? And why does this, I want to say, this, not them, this piece of, you know what, POS got to do with it? We'll talk about it on the tape when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Take. I'm your host as always, Kitty Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the Take on this Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Take here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Let's get to the political rundown. On the political rundown this week, what a political rundown it was after we found out that the government was shut down due to this man and his cronies, his Republican cronies, President Trump, what went down with him, like what happened last week. Remember this?
For some reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it. You'll be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you said that last week, but this week you got a different story, my man. Let's hear what you had to say. And look at this, the history of the government shutdown right here. 750 federal workers passed for mass firings and offices shuttered. So this man trying to be doing clean house. As all, he's the president. He want to do what he wants to do.
President Trump,
Let's
he
hear
had another deep fake video overnight. How does that help the cause of getting a deal and opening the government?
Look, the president uses social media for humor. He makes jokes. He does lots of things. What the president did in showing leadership, though, 2 days ago, was he brought in Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries to meet with me and Leader Thune in the Senate to try to work this out. He gave them unlimited time they had in the Oval Office, and they would not come to the table to do exactly, George, what they themselves have said repeatedly over and over and over. We have a highlight reel playing on my social media that shows Chuck Schumer in his own words for the last decades saying that a shutdown would be dangerous and disastrous and reckless. And now he is the one leading his party off that cliff. There's one question that Senate Democrats have to ask today. How long are they going to allow Chuck Schumer to do this to them so that he himself can get political cover from the far left corner of his base? He believes he's going to get a challenge for the Senate from AOC. That's what changed his mind. That's what's driving this agenda. And it's harming real American people. You said at the outset how many people will be unpaid. Many people will lose their jobs over this. TSA agents, the troops won't be paid. They have to go to work. They won't be paid because Chuck Schumer wants to play political games with a nonpartisan continuing resolution to keep government operating.
Yeah, it's like the Democrats and Republicans are fighting. Democrats trying to say, hey, the Republicans trying to take away your health care since they want to take away $1 trillion. Republicans argue that the Democrats don't want to play a game with this big beautiful bill situation. Here's what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries had to say to counteract Speaker Mike Johnson.
Mr. Leader, your response, first of all, to what the Speaker said there about the President's comments on the enemy within and using American cities to train the military.
Well, good morning, George. It was a deeply disturbing statement that the President made. We need presidential leadership that brings people together as opposed to tearing us apart. And certainly it's the case that not a single American should ever be viewed as the enemy within or potentially as target practice for the American military, which is why the American people have rejected the deployment and occupation of American cities and towns and counties with American military troops. We have the finest military in the world, and they should be used to keep us safe from external enemies.
All right, you heard from Speaker Mike Johnson, but that didn't end there. After the president's number 2 had this to say.
You can square your fervent belief in free speech with what's going on now with Jimmy Kimmel and the FCC pressure. I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of those.
Well, look, on the free speech conversation, I'm pretty sure that Jimmy Kimmel was back on the air last night, and to the extent that he's not back on the air, it's because he's not funny and has terrible ratings. This is not a federal government problem. This is... And Kit, I want to answer your question in good faith. What people will say is, well, you know, didn't the FCC commissioner put a tweet out that said something bad? Well, Kit, compare that, the FCC commissioner making a joke on social media. What is the government action that the Trump administration has engaged in to kick Jimmy Kimmel or anybody else off the air? Zero. What government pressure have we brought to bear to tell people that they're not allowed to speak their mind? Zero. We believe in free speech in the Trump administration. We are fighting every single day to protect it. Now compare that to the Biden administration, where we found out just yesterday that conservatives on YouTube and on a number of social media platforms were being censored. Why? Because the Biden administration picked up the phone and said, we want you to censor our political opponents. That is real government censorship, and it left the White House when Joe Biden left the White House.
Well, you see, Vice President J.D. Vance had a lot to say, even to Trump. We know Trump had something to do with Jimmy Kimmel being suspended due to the fact that Kimmel was suspended by Nexstar in Sinclair. So Jimmy Kimmel saying he's not done yet. He came back grand fashion. Jimmy Kimmel back on the air and this free speech and stuff. Even the president sometimes gets a little bit carried away on what's going on as well. So
he doesn't look like a journalist to me, but go ahead and shout out a question because I'm not.
Well, he's vice president is doing his bidding and stuff like that. But I just tell you about politics in America when it comes to that right then and there. All right, we move on to next. Before we head out, I want to say, all right, we'll move on to news. On news this week, what the news is was singer Dolly Parton announced that she will be taking a break. Dolly Parton saying that she's not gonna be able to. She's tired, and this is the message right here. Dolly Parton sent the health challenges and stuff. So Dolly Parton sent the doctor's telling her that she needs to slow down, get a checkup. So Dolly Parton said she wants to give you a show that you deserve to see. So Dolly Parton said that on Instagram. Dolly Parton taking some rest now. And, it's good for Dolly. And, Dolly Parton was supposed to do a Vegas residency, but unfortunately she won't be doing it right now. At the moment, she's kind of low-winded right now. So for Dolly Parton, stuff like that. So, hey, Dolly Parton said, I need a break too, you know? So, Dolly Parton was a bit tight, stuff like that. So, we'll see that. It's good for Dolly. All right, speaking of that, we can go on to other stuff. Let's go to this right here. Tina Turner, right here, before we leave out. We can show you the viral video of the week. All right. The viral video of the week. Tina Turner, she passed away nearly 2 years ago, but Tina Turner is being celebrated for her accomplishments and stuff. Here's a statue, a package of Tina Turner, what the fans read the Tina Turner statue. Oh, that was Tina Turner statue, but unfortunately it was Cardi B. I guess not. Well, we know that Tina Turner had a statue, so look that up, coming closer than you need. Well, we can leave you with this crazy man
For
right
some
here.
reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it. You'll be uncomfortable. It won't be as easy, maybe, but don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And don't give it to the baby after the baby is born.
He's crazy and sick. But that's just the president for you, doing his thing and want to do. All right. Thank you all for watching this edition of The Tape. I've been your host, Kenny Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Tape. See you later.